erzählen zusammen die Geschichte über den schweinkopfigen Hund und dem lieben Red Baron.
Okay, well, this is the original G05 frame that was in the Red Baron. Well, it's the one that was in it. I don't know if it's the original. But anyway, somebody had taken the tube off of it, and so the tube and the yoke is gone. And even though it has the deflection board and the high voltage unit, they also cut or pulled the anode cup off of the wire out of the cage. So I don't know what was going on here. Also, the ground strap that makes contact on the edge of the tube is supposed to have a spring that hooks into the copper strip and hooks in here, so that spring is gone too. Well, I didn't know if my tube was going to be good or not because of the little burn-in specks all over the monitor mask, but it turns out it doesn't affect the monitor. But I went ahead and bought a tube that had supposedly some Asteroid Deluxe burn-in. I haven't looked at it yet, but the main reason I bought it was, well, in case I needed it, and two, it came with the blue monitor gel, which I still need. So I went ahead and got it, and it came the other day, and it's in the box over here. So I'm going to get it out and see what it looks like, and go ahead and stick it on this monitor frame. And I got some new bolts because the bolts was missing. They're just regular 1/4 inch bolts that bolt the tube onto the frame. And I figured it would be a lot safer to keep it in the frame until I find a yoke for it, because I'm going to go ahead and get this one going too for a backup or spare, or might even find another game like a Battle Zone or something for it to go in. So let's go ahead and pull the other tube out and see what it looks like. Well, the seller had it boxed up real good. Not only is it laying on a shipping blanket, he had the foam packed around it. Plus he had this box laying on top of it with the neck sticking up, and this another flat cardboard box on top of it to protect the neck. So it was very well packed. So I'm hoping that the monitor gel is underneath the tube. It's supposed to be in there, so let's go ahead and pull it out and see if we can't find it. Okay, well, there it is. We've got it bolted onto the frame. So and the monitor gel is stuck to the monitor, although it's not in the place it was. He had it pulled off, and he just stuck it back up down. It was enough stickiness, I guess, on a double sticky tape to where it just stuck to it again. It's not perfect. It's got some scratches, but I didn't expect it to be perfect. So I got some Novus. I'll see if I can polish it up maybe with some Novus to make it look a little bit better, but we'll see how it cleans up. But it's better than nothing, so it's a start. We'll see how it cleans up and go from there. Well, just hit it one time real quickly with some Novus #1, and it started to shine, but it still got some scratches in it, some imperfections. But maybe I'll try some Novus #2. I don't know if I want to try #3 on it, but we'll try some #2 and see if we can't get the scratches a little less noticeable, and try to bring it back to life. Well, I'm using Novus #3, and this is a long process by hand, but I don't want to put a powered buffer on it because I might get overzealous and mess it up, so I'd rather do it by hand. But the scratches are starting to come out. I've been at it for about 30 minutes now, so we're going to go ahead and keep rubbing it in and see if we can't minimize some of these scratches. Okay, well, it's about an hour of polishing with Novus #3, #2, and #1, and it came pretty clean. Most of the smaller scratches are out. Got a couple places where something gouged into it, but all in all, it's nice and shiny. And I think once it's behind the bezel in the monitor and turned on, it should be fine. So you can actually see stuff reflecting in it. And I haven't even pulled it off and cleaned the backside yet, so that should maybe help it a little bit too. So we'll go ahead and pull it off and clean the backside and go ahead and stick it on our monitor. Well, I just pulled the gel off of the tube here, and it was supposed to have Asteroids Deluxe burn-in, but I swear I can't see any burn-in at all. I mean, the tube looks like brand new. It's a shame it don't already have a yoke installed on it, or I don't have a yoke for it, because I would go ahead and put this one in. But since we don't have a yoke for it, I'm not going to transfer the yoke off of the other one and put on this tube. I'm just going to try to find a yoke to go on this one. No need in doubling up the work, because the other one looks fine. And with the gel on it, I don't think you see the Asteroid Deluxe burn in it. But if there's nothing wrong with this tube, once I put a yoke on it and get it going, that's pretty good buy. I think I paid $95 for the tube and the gel. So that was a pretty good deal, because the gel would probably cost me, I don't know, $35 to $50, I would imagine, if I could find one. So anyway, we'll put this away somewhere in the corner and try to find a yoke for it. And in the meantime, we'll go ahead and put our working monitor in. Okay, well, I got around to cleaning up the back side, and I had a few scratches on the back side, but I wanted to try to get this black double-sided tape off to get some new tape to put on. And the stuff is sticking like mad, and I don't think this is going to focus on it too good, and you can't really see it, but I just tried real lightly with a razor blade to try to scrape up the end. I soaked it good with some soap, actually some Simple Green, and I noticed that the blue tint came off, and it was a little speck of clear. So I believe the blue tint is somehow coated onto the back side of this, so that the whole thing is not blue. It's actually clear plastic with a blue coating on the back. So I'd recommend leave that alone. So what I'm going to do is just leave the old tape on there. I've kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and then I'm going to take this stuff here, which is a contact cement, and this stuff will glue anything to anything. You put it on both surfaces and let it dry, and then when you stick it, it's stuck. And this stuff works on foam. It's foam safe, so it's plastic safe, and it'll glue about anything to anything. So this will be perfect for it. So we'll go ahead and we'll coat the original foam strip here, which is about a 1/4 inch foam strip, and set it aside, let it dry, and then we'll also put a little coating on the tube. But first we'll lay it on the tube so that we can actually mark where the edge of it is, so we'll know where to put the glue. Alright, well, I put the glue around the edges of the monitor and around the edges of the gel. So try to line this thing up and stick it in place. And hope I get it in the right spot. That looks good. press it down. Alright, now just pull the tape off. And we'll give it one final cleaning on the top, and we'll try it out. Okay, well, I cut the lights off, and there it is with the blue monitor gel on. Looking in the viewfinder here, it doesn't look nowhere near as blue as it does in person, so camera is a hard judge of color sometimes when it comes to a monitor. But it looks good, so ought to look good in that Red Baron. Okay, well, we had to move everything around to get it in the door, but Red Baron is now in the arcade here. So we're all ready to start with getting it up and running now, since the cabinet is done, except I didn't do anything to the sides. I left the sides just the way I found them. What I plan to do is when this old game makes the silk screened art, I'm going to buy the new art for it. Then I'll pull it back out of here and I'll sand the sides down and do whatever I have to do to get the sides like new, to put the side art on. And at that time I'll also put new T-molding on the game. And hopefully, even though my control panel is in fairly good looking shape, except for this one place here where somebody scraped the vinyl here. It's got a couple little bad spots right here. That's the only bad spot on it. The rest of it looks like new. But hopefully they're going to redo that too. So that'll get replaced also eventually. But now we're ready. We've got the monitor ready, so we can go ahead and first install the monitor. Okay, well, we're ready to drop the monitor in. Now, when I got it, it had the frame and chassis minus the tube and yoke of a GO5 in it. So I'm hoping that the Wells Garner V2000 is going to have the holes in the exact same place. So that would be nice. I would think it would, since it's a direct replacement supposedly. But we'll see. Alright, I got my bolts here. Put one on that side. And see if this side's lined up. Okay, those two in. Now go around the back and see if I can get the back in. Alright, well, they all fit, but I don't know whether I should pull it forward or slide it back, because there is a slot where it'll go. So I'm going to bring it all the way up, and if I have to later on, I can go ahead and loosen them up and adjust them so that this will fit up tight against the cardboard bezel. I have the cardboard bezel here, it's still boxed up, but I'm not going to even try to see if that'll fit yet. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in, and we'll go ahead and bolt put the nuts and the washers on and just snug it down and get the game up and running before I worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and put these nuts on and tighten them up, and then we'll find out what we're going to go to next. Alright, well, we've got the monitor bolted in, but I'm not going to plug the wiring harness in yet. You can get to it from the back here. I'm not going to plug it in though until we get the boards in and make sure that we get the power supply checked out and make sure everything else is working before we go plugging the board in. So next thing we're going to do is put the audio regulator board in. Alright, well, I'm ready to install the audio regulator board. And the audio regulator board is held in by 4 screws, wood screws. And here's one of the originals I found in the bottom of the cabinet. I don't know if the camera will focus on it here. But it's got a little hard washer, and it's also, these 4 washers go underneath the board to hold them off the particle board. And I thought I'd found all of them, but I believe I'm missing 2 of the screws, and well, 2 of the washers. I found more screws. I bought some screws to match the originals, but I couldn't find those washers, so I picked up some of these, which are plastic washers that have a little cap. They're used in furniture or shelves, I guess, so that they hide the screw. So I can either just leave them like that, or I can flip it over and be like a anti-theft device. They won't be able to figure out how to get to the screw, maybe. Who knows? But anyway, so what we're going to do is we'll put those on the top and put the originals down at the bottom. So we'll start it up here at the top. And first we have to figure out which way it goes, since this wasn't in the game. But the wiring harness is stapled up here, and the top side has 3 plugs. The bottom side has 2. So if you just look at the board, you can see you got 3 connections on the top and 2 at the bottom. So that means it has to go this way. Sometimes you just have to use a little bit of thought process to figure those easy little things out. Alright, well, this one looks like it's easy to get to, so I'm going to do this side first. Put the washer on. And got the original screw hole here, so I'm hoping I'll just be able to use the original screw hole here. Alright, I'm not going to tighten it up yet. Go ahead and get the other side on. Alright, now get the bottom ones in. Alright, got to start in the original hole. And one more. going into wood, so we're just going to snug them up here. Okay, board's in. So now let's plug it up. We'll start with the top ones here. And I want to put a little pressure on the edge of the board here because I don't want to flex the board by plugging them in. Okay, those are plugged in. Two down here. Okay, audio regulator board is in. Now we should be able to hook up the power cord and turn the power on and check our voltage on the board and set the 5 volts. I believe the 5 volts is the only one that can be adjusted on this board. I don't think it has a adjustment for anything else. It's been about a year since I rebuilt it, so a little foggy on that, so I'm going to have to look that up, but pretty sure pot right here for the 5-volt regulator, and it's still glued. I didn't replace that pot because it wasn't in the kit, so that's still an original pot there and it's still preset, so I may have to break that glue loose and adjust it, but we'll see once I fire it up. Okay, now let's check the voltages and make sure we're getting the correct voltages. So we'll turn the game on, and of course we don't have any game boards in it yet. All we have is the audio regulator board. And we have our test lead hooked up to the plus sense connector there. I believe that's what that is. And we have it hooked to the ground down here. So let's turn our meter on here. And the reason I'm doing this with the clip-on alligator wires is just so that I can easily show you what the voltage is. And we're getting 5.2 volts on the 5-volt line, and that's without a load. So that's okay to put our boards in like that. We may have to adjust it up once we put the boards in, but we'll see, because the adjustment is still glued in place. Okay, well now let's check the other voltages. Take it off to 5-volt here. And the other ones are down here. We got our positive 12-volt. Plug that in there, see what we're getting. And on our 12-volt, I'm getting 12.28. So that's within specs. Alright, next let's try the, I believe it's, don't have my flashlight here, but I believe it's 22 volts. positive and 22 volts negative. This is to 22 volts positive, and I'm getting 25.6, which that's acceptable from what I've been reading. Here's the 22 negative, and I'm getting negative 25.6. Okay, now here's the thing. The next is the minus 5 volts. Okay, put it on to minus 5 volts. And this is what was throwing me. I'm getting minus 15.87 volts. And I was thinking to myself, got a bad minus 5 volt regulator. So 7905, I believe. Well, I got looking around, I don't have any more 7905s. I just got the plus 5 volt, the 7805s, which won't work. So I got doing some research online, and come find out this is a well-known problem that I didn't know about. Seems like the old regulators used to regulate without a load on it, but a lot of the newer regulators, the minus 5 volt regulators, you have to have a load before they'll give you a correct reading. So, and if you go to Bob Roberts' site, which I got this kit from Bob Roberts, he has a little write-up called Chicken Little. So if you go to his website and you look under his wealth of knowledge, you'll find an article named Chicken Little, and this is talking about this very thing here. So what I need to do is, I've got me a 555 bulb that I use in my pinball machines, and if you got 5 volt coin doors, it'll work in that. And I bent the wires back on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it up to the minus 5 volts. And bam, we have a light. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check the voltage. Since we now have a load, even though it's not much of a load, I'm just going to have to hold this on here. And let's see if I can get on there. Now we got minus 5.10. So with the load of just the light bulb on here, it's working. Go figure. So evidently all our voltages check out. So the only thing left to do now is to put the game boards in. Okay, well, I just unpacked my boards, and they're supposed to be repaired and ready to go. They have tags on them. I got these from Joe up in Illinois, and this instills confidence in you. The original tag, I would imagine, it says cannot repair, not repaired, too much damage from acid corrosion. But I don't see any acid corrosion on the board that I can tell. So who knows where that tag came from. Probably originally when he got it. And it had problems, I'm sure, like most of them did. So let's go ahead and install the board. Should have took that tag off. Alright, and here's the auxiliary board. And same thing on here. Sockets missing parts, unknown. Has a date of 5/1/91 on it. So imagine it's been around. Alright. Let's put this one in. I assume this one goes up here. Looks like it fits. And he also made up brand new connect cable for it. So it's got brand new connect cable. And I'm going to see if the holes line up for the screws. If not, I have to put some new screws in here to hold the boards. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and take these tags off. I don't need those tags hanging on there. So I'll be back once I get the screws in there and we're ready to plug the boards in. Okay, well, we got the boards all plugged in. The edge connectors look good. So I just fired it up and got the voltmeter on the 5-volt line. I'm still reading 5.1 volts. So the voltage, 5 volts, seems to be good. I did forget to check one thing a while ago, I believe. I didn't check the 10 volts unregulated, but I'm getting 12.64 on that, so that's good. Okay, well, I don't know whether it's playing blind or not. I don't hear anything. I don't remember if red bearing has an attract mode and if it has any sounds or not. But since it's fired up, I do hear like the board is making a little clicking noise every now and then. So it's like it's running in an attract mode. So I guess we go around here and see if we're getting anything. Okay, we got the start button is flashing. Okay, evidently it must be set on free play. And it will seem like it may be working. Okay, so the next step is we'll go ahead and cut it off. And we'll go ahead and plug a monitor in and cross our fingers and see what happens. Okay, we just turned it on. And we're waiting to see what happens here. And it is set on free play. There we go. We got a picture. Okay. Yahoo! Looks like we might have a working red bearing here. The only thing I'm not sure about that is right down here in front of the Atari Incorporated. Is that supposed to be, what is that supposed to be? It looks like OP. Maybe that's a copyright thing. I don't know. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to look, but everything else looks good. Alright. So let's see if the joystick is working. Oh yeah! Well, so far so good. Seems to be working fine. That joystick feels good with the repo rubber bellows in there with the holes punched in them. Gun's overheated. As long as I played it, I forgot that it would do that. Bonus life. Uh-oh, he got me. Whoops, not over yet. Alright, now they're starting to fire back at me. The barrage balloons are firing back. So it's installations on the hill. It's kind of hard holding the camera with one hand and trying to play the game and look at where I'm supposed to be shooting here. I'll have to set this up on a tripod later and get some better footage, but I'm just having too much fun playing right now to stop. I used to love this game when it was back in the local arcade. It's been years since I've played a real good game. Oh, gun's overheated again. Uh-oh, crashed into the mountain, I think. Okay. Now, I don't have a high score save in this, I'm pretty sure, so I doubt it's going to save the scores, but... But anyway, there I am. So, cool. Have a working red bearing now. Okay, well, we still have some stuff to do. Even though it appears to be working like it's supposed to. I don't like my games on free play, so I'm going to have to change the coin mechs. I already have some 984 quarter coin mechs I can throw in here, and I need to look up the dip switch settings for the coin setup, get it back on coins, and I still got the marquee to put in. I got a little touch up I'm going to do on that, and I have been a while since I looked at it, but I have the monitor plexi and the cardboard bezel that goes in here, and from what I remember, it was in pretty good shape for the age of it. So we'll unpack it and see how that lines up, and get this thing all set up so we can put it in the lineup. Okay, I just thought I would add this. After I was playing a few games, after the first time I got it fired up, I had a reset. The game reset. It only did it one time. So I decided to come back and check the power supply, because if you remember when I set it with the boards hooked up, I was only at 5.1 volts. So I decided that I would check the voltage on the auxiliary board to see if there was any difference in the voltage from the power supply and the voltage on the board and the voltage on the auxiliary board. And come find out, on the auxiliary board I was only getting like, I think it was 4.87 volts. which is below 5 volts. And so I decided to step the voltage up and measure both. So now I got it hooked up to the 5 volts on the audio regulator board here, and as you can see I got 5.43. Okay, well, I've hooked up the wires to the plus 5 volt and ground on the main board, and on the main board we're getting 5.34. So now we'll go ahead and we'll check out the auxiliary board and see what we're getting on the auxiliary board. Okay, so now I've got the voltmeter hooked up to the ground and the plus 5 volts on the auxiliary board. And on the auxiliary board I'm getting 5.14. So it's a slight drop, but I don't think it's enough to worry about. If it was a substantial drop, then that would tell me that my edge connectors were dirty and not getting the voltage to the board like it should. But I checked both these edge connectors and they both look clean, and they both look like they had plenty of tension on all the connectors in the edge connectors. So I think they'll be okay. And I played a bunch of games since I readjusted the power supply, and I haven't had any more resets. So I believe that was the issue, was that the voltage was just set a little bit too low. So whenever you're setting or checking the voltage, make sure you check the voltage at both the boards, and to compare what you're getting, because if those connectors are dirty, then you're not going to get the proper voltage, and then that's when the resistors, this resistor right here and the other resistor is, I believe, right there, which are in the plus and minus sense circuit, they'll get hot and overheat and burn up and cause problems. And that's why a lot of people do what they call the sense mod, which takes the all that out of the equation. But I'm one of the believers that that's not a good idea. Some people swear by it, but I believe, like some people, that if you have a problem, just doing the sense mod is just like a band-aid. You're not fixing the real problem. The real problem is you need to replace the connections in your edge connectors. So anyway, I think we're okay. Well, that's all for now, so be sure to check out our next video. Next video we'll be dealing with unpacking the monitor bezel, the cardboard monitor bezel, and the plexiglass, and we'll be touching up the marquee and installing the marquee, and let's see, we'll be doing some work to the coin door and setting it up for tokens, and yes, we just got a step for it. Somebody was parting out a battle zone, and we got a used battle zone step. So we'll be getting that ready and installing that on the front of the cabinet. So we have a few more things to do, so hope you're enjoying the videos. So keep a lookout, and we'll have another one up soon.
Achtung, jetzt wir singen zusammen die Geschichte über den Schweinkopf in den Hund.